Hello, welcome back to the YouTube. I've only posted one video and that was probably like, 3 months ago. I did have intentions to start making it more regular, but alas, with our plans to go nomad, life just took over. We've got to move everything out of our home. I mean, this is probably the neatest corner of our home right now. If you could see the rest, if we went widescreen, then it's just chaos. Yeah, so it's been a little bit overwhelming, and not in the sense of we're going nomad, we're going traveling, we've got 2 kids, we're gonna have to homeschool, like that I am absolutely fine with. Yeah, it's just getting everything sorted in the house. It's kind of took over my life amongst all the other things I've got to do, all the life admin, obviously making sure the kids are fed and alive, working in between that, obviously doing my membership stuff and tattooing as well. So yeah, it's just been a lot, but here I am. And I knew that when I got back into the swing of doing YouTube again, I wanted to do a little bit of a Q&A. So I've put up some question boxes. I did 2 on Instagram, just with some like random questions, and I thought I'd sit here and just answer a few questions. I thought it'd be a nice way to get to know me a little bit more. But yeah, I love doing these kind of things anyway, like when we're in the membership, and yeah, when I get asked questions, when we're on the live calls and stuff, I love just sittering. I love sitting and nattering. I do tend to go on a tangent, so I don't know how long this video is going to be. But yeah, so I've whittled down some questions, and I've also got some short fire round questions, which I thought would be quite fun. Well, let's get into it then. Okay, plane's going over. Okay, back to it. A perfect day for me. So a perfect day for me would definitely be a very slow paced day. And honestly, it's probably nothing really exciting. I would like to get up and have my space. So for me, I always need to have a moment just to myself, whether that's in the evenings or in the mornings. Morning time tends to be the best time because, I mean, but it's difficult because my partner he got a temporary job after we closed the studio, just in between sort of closing the studio and going nomad, and it's in a bakery, and he helps with the bakery and then he goes out and delivers. But it's like first thing in the morning, and when I say first thing in the morning, it's not even first thing in the morning, it's still nighttime. So he gets up at like 2 a.m, which means he's going to bed early. So, and he comes home early as well. So my morning time isn't my time anymore because he'll be there. And I know that sounds really horrible. I love spending time with my partner, but it's more, I need that time for me, just to sit, meditate, do some journaling, do some grounding, maybe do some yoga. Yeah, so it's kind of switched into the evenings now, but I am definitely a morning person. So once we go nomad, fingers crossed, we get back into that routine where Michael has a bit of a lie-in and I can get up and have that hour to myself. So yeah, it'd start off with that. Get up nice and early. I typically like to, well, before Michael did this job, I've started lying in a little bit more now because I tend to have my evening time. But yeah, I'll get up at around 5 o'clock, 4:30, and yeah, just potter around the house. And I put a brew on and I will do some meditation, journaling. If I'm part of like a group or a membership or whatever, I'll do some work in that, or watch whatever videos, catch up with that, do some yoga, go outside if it's summertime and it's sunny. And yeah, so that's what I'll start off with. And I mean, at the time of recording this, the kids are still in school, and yeah, obviously we're going to be homeschooling. So my ideal day would be then the kids get up and we just have a lovely slow morning, homemade breakfast, maybe some pancakes or something like that. I love cooking. I love cooking. I love scratch cooking. So yeah, but Michael is actually, he makes really good breakfasts. So yeah, Michael getting up, he can do breakfast. And then we just have a slow morning. If it's a typical school day, obviously home education version, then we would be doing some maths and English. But yeah, it's just nice and chill. And then we would go out for the day. Hopefully it's nice and sunny. That would be my perfect day. Maybe go to the beach or just spending time in nature, and then come home, maybe do some watercoloring or embroidery. Again, I'd love to do this outside, have a nice little nook in the garden where we can sit and yeah, just get creative. And yeah, I think I love cooking, but I'd say my perfect day would be cooking all day, but then going out for tea. I love going out for tea. So yeah, go out for tea. Hopefully the kids are well behaved, and then come home and chill and I don't know, watch a film or have a games night. We love a games night. My little boy especially, my goodness me, he absolutely loves a board game. His favourite, or a card game, his favourite at the moment is Uno. He loves Uno and he's so good at it. He's so good at it. And Pop and Go or Pop and Hop. There's loads of different versions of that game, like the name changes. Like we've got Pop and Go, but at my mum's house she's got Pop and Hop, but it's same game, same rules. Yeah, and I know that sounds really simple and basic, but that would be my perfect day. An even more perfect day would be maybe booking a lovely holiday in between to look forward to, but obviously that wouldn't be an everyday. So yeah, that would be my everyday perfect day. Okay, number 2, what spiritual tools do I use the most? Okay, so definitely tarot and oracle, 100%. I always go to that if I ever need some extra guidance, extra clarity. That is the tool that I like to use when I'm working with clients. It's never failed me. I've had such potent messages come through with that, like the perfect time. I've mentioned this story a few times with clients, but there was one time where I was doing just a very quick reading and I was like, I can't remember what the question was that I wanted some form of clarity on, but I ended up pulling these cards. And no, I pulled one card and I didn't like the answer, so I was just like, maybe I didn't ask the question right. This was probably in my early days when I really started getting into tarot. So I put the card back, reshuffled it all, laid it back out, pulled the card, same exact card in a deck of, what is it, like 78 cards? 72? I can't remember the number in the tarot deck, but either way, the exact same card came out. And I feel like I said, that was quite early on in my tarot journey, I suppose you'd call it. And that was definitely a moment where I was like, whoa, okay, I need to listen up here. So yeah, 100% tarot and oracle. I love working with oracle for daily use. I love working with tarot if I am maybe doing a little bit more of a ritual, whether it's a full moon ritual or a Sabbath ritual. I'll go a little bit deeper with tarot. I also, this is something that I've realised literally today actually. So I've been pottering around the house, just packing up some boxes, and we've used up all our incense, and I'm in that state of mind of like, I don't want to buy anymore because we're going to be on the road soon. I'll probably buy some whilst we're on the road, but for now I don't want to give myself more packing to do, even though it'd be a little box of incense. It's still, my brain is just like, no. But I love burning incense and I love my home to smell nice. Anyway, whilst I was packing, I found some Palo Santo and some patchouli. I never know how to pronounce that. Patchouli, I think. And yeah, so I ended up burning it and cleansing the home. And I've not done that in a while. And I feel like spiritually, I've sort of stepped back the last few months. I've done the work for everyone else, but I've not really made time for me. Like in the membership, I've been doing these, you know, really powerful workbooks and working with people and giving my time to them. But then I've not been sitting with myself. So yeah, like cleansing the home, that used to be like a weekly ritual for me, but you know, the last few months it's just not. And I feel like that's probably because I've checked out of this home by now and I'm just ready to leave. But anyway, I've been feeling very stagnant and very just like and I was like, I need to do some cleansing. So I found this Palo Santo, I found this patchouli. I will never get that right. Please someone tell me the pronunciation in the comments. Anyway, I found some incense, so I burnt it and instantly I was like, oh my god, it's like memories came flooding back, feelings and relief. And in my human design, I don't know if anyone knows human design. If you've not looked at your human design chart, I highly recommend. It is an amazing tool, you know, to get insight into, you know, how you can manifest or how you can just live your life day to day. Everyone's so different, and the human design chart really breaks that down. I've never had it like professionally read. I just know the basics of it, but just from knowing the basics, I was like, oh my word, that makes sense. Now there is a I don't know what the section's called exactly, but it's your sense, and mine was smell. And that makes so much sense because I am not triggered by smells, but they definitely hold a lot of purpose and a lot of energy for me. Like if I go into a room and it smells, you know, amazing, or there's flowers, or you know, someone's burning incense, for example, it instantly can make me feel calm or energetic, or it, just as much as if I walked into a room and it stank to high heavens of just horribleness, I'd be like, oh no, I cannot, like I wouldn't be able to deal, I wouldn't be able to stay in that room, and it would really affect me mentally. I know that sounds bizarre, but it does. And even if like I say, the house is chaos at the moment, but just burning that incense really just, it was so grounding, and it was literally like a wave washed over me. So yes, that is another tool I'll be bringing along. I wasn't going to, but on my travels I will be bringing my tarot cards, a tarot deck, an oracle deck. Journaling, I don't know if that would class as a spiritual tool, but I mean, that's a given for me anyway. It's such a powerful tool for me. And also now some incense on the road, and maybe one of my smart ones. I found a smart one that's not been used yet that I made, and it is sage, rosemary and mugwort, so that is coming along with me. Okay, question 3, so this question I've sort of like just rephrased it just so it makes more sense. So the original question was, and also I'm very sorry, I've realised I've not written down anyone's names. So for one, I think I've got most people's questions, but some of the questions were quite similar. Yeah, I apologise, I've not got your names down. But the question was, how did your business come to life? So I'm going to base this on Your Magic World, because obviously I've got the tattooing business and I've got Your Magic World, which was formerly known as Linnea, which is still a thing. So let's go back to the beginning. So I started off with Linnea. Obviously I was tattooing at the time, still am, but I was just tattooing as my main income, and that was all I was doing. And the thing with tattooing, it can be very, very, very overwhelming very quickly. It can be a lot, and I've been tattooing now for, what is it, like 12, 13 years, and there's a lot of pressure that comes with it. There is a lot of like I say, there's so much work. Like, a lot of people just think you go into the studio, you tattoo, you go home. No, there's so much admin that comes with it. There is so much design work that comes with it. Like, one design can take a few hours to do, and that's not including if that client wants to make changes. And sometimes you can have like 5, 6 of them a week. So yeah, I absolutely loved tattooing, but I wanted to have another source of income so that I could step away from it, so I weren't starting to resent it and become overworked. Like, my kids were getting older, I felt like I was spending so much time just focusing on work. Obviously, I was coming home and then I'd have like an hour with them and I'd be like, right, I need to do some drawing. Or even if I was spending time with them watching a film, I'd be like, right, I need to do some, design work in between. I felt like it was taking the present moment from me when it came to family life. So yeah, I started Linnea, and it started off as a little bit of like a spiritual well-being brand. I made some products. So what products did I make to begin with? Sort of like t-shirts. So there was like my designs on t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanies. Did I do beanies? I don't know if I did beanies. Smoke ones. I made some smoke ones. Jewelry. Actually got a piece of jewelry on now. These are actually still on the website. And gosh, what else? Tea. Herbal teas. Herbal teas is something that's still going as well, because I'm very passionate about that. So it started off under the name Linnea, and then it sort of just evolved and evolved and evolved. That's when I brought the herbal teas in. So we didn't start off with the herbal teas. We did actually bring some herbal teas in wholesale. And then I got so many comments, because I'm like literally the tea girl. I've got a cup of tea here. And yeah, I always get asked, like, I'd love to dive more into the tea world. So I did it. Started studying more on it. Started looking at different blends, started making my own blends, and started thinking, these actually taste pretty nice. Looked into it, went to the local authorities to, go through all the hygiene and stuff, and it was pretty straightforward. I think that's what put me off a lot with like making my own tea brand, was the ins and outs and all of that. But it was really straightforward. So we brought in the tea, and then so Your Magic World came about because I was doing moon circles at my old tattoo studio, which is now closed. So I was doing these moon circles, but the space was really small. I could probably fit like 5 people in. So what would often be happening, because obviously moon circles happening every 4 weeks or so, and I found that a lot of the time that it wasn't always the same people, but some people couldn't always make it, or sometimes it'd be booked up straight away and they'd be like, oh, I didn't see it in time, da, da, da. And then I kept getting asked, would you do some online circles? And I was a bit like, oh, like, I've never really thought about it. So then I got asked like 2-3 times about online circles. So I thought, there's people calling out for this. Let's just go into it a little bit. So yeah, I started doing some online ones, Sabbath circles as well, and then created the membership, Your Magic World. Now, my personal Instagram account was called Sophie's Magic World, and I loved it. I loved the cuteness of it. I loved how it was a sense of just me living in my own world and just seeing the magic around, and almost like fantasy like. And yeah, so I used that name for the membership, Your Magic World. And then I decided that the content I wanted to create is very lifestyle based, and I really loved Sophie's Magic World. So I changed Linnea into Sophie's Magic World. And Linnea is still very much a thing for the product based teas. You can see that on the website. But yeah, I just rebranded everything into Sophie's Magic World, and it's just a place where I can be creative. There's no limitations as to what's what. Like, there's the YouTube, Your Magic World, or is it Sophie's Magic World on YouTube? There's a YouTube that's got that name. Obviously my Instagram now, the podcast, which I'm not doing the podcast anymore, but it's still, I've just kept everything up. Podcast is called Your Magic World. And yeah, I guess that's how it came to life. I hope that answers your question. I went on to a bit of a tangent, but yeah, that's how it all came about. Okay, question number 4, I think. How do you find time to meditate, journal, or be with yourself? I have no kids and I struggle. Okay, good question. Let me know if anyone has the answer. I've already touched on this. Like, finding time for me is very important, and I do get up early, or at the moment, because Michael's getting up early, I do it in the evenings. So when everyone's gone to bed, I'll do it in the evenings. But I do make sure that I have that pocket of time, even if it's just an hour or 15 minutes, as long as I have like a little bit of practice. Also, a little hack: if I have a super busy day and there's simply no time to do any of my normal practices, one thing I love to do when I'm going to bed is I will put a subliminal on. So there's loads online. I include some in the membership as well. So sometimes I'll just pop one of them on, or just go onto YouTube or Spotify. There's loads of subliminals there. And yeah, I'll just pop that on and whilst I sleep, and the work is still doing it. Your subconscious mind never sleeps. So your subconscious mind is still taking in all these lovely affirmations, or even if you wanted to put on a guided meditation, like your subconscious mind is still doing the work. So that's a little hack that I like to do. I try and do that every single night anyway, regardless if I've had time to do my own personal practice or not. And yeah, I'll even put a subliminal on whilst I'm reading. You can put a subliminal on during the day whilst you're doing housework. I wouldn't recommend them whilst driving as such. It's not a meditation in the sense of you're closing your eyes and it could make you drowsy. It's more just sort of like background noise, background music, really nice calming music I tend to put on. And the subliminals are underneath the audio. So you don't hear the words, but your subconscious mind is taking them in. So yeah, I don't really recommend it driving, but you can literally put them on whenever, when you're doing the housework, if you're doing the gardening, yeah, or before you're going to bed like me. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on how I managed to do it. I don't actually manage very well, especially in these last few months. Like I say, it's been overwhelming. The house is chaos and my mind is just like, ah! Know that it's okay to have pockets of time where you don't do it. And I think that sometimes we just put so much pressure on ourselves to be perfect every single time. And yes, consistency is key when it comes to these things, just to keep that momentum going. But it's absolutely okay to have a slip up every now and then, just as long as you get back on the right track. Okay, number 5 I think we're on is, how do you work in a way that is slow without burning out? Again, these last few months are nothing to go off example by, because I have been a little bit burnt out, but it's not, I just keep telling myself it's not the norm. It's not going to be an everyday scenario where I'm packing up my whole life and, getting rid of a load of stuff and yeah, just preparing for nomad life. But I suppose one thing to do is just making sure that you're having that time to yourself, or even just slow, mindful moments in the day, even if it's just having a cup of tea and just grabbing 5 minutes and just having that 5 minutes just to yourself with no scrolling through your phone, because when we scroll through our phone, our mind is just getting dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit, dopamine hit. And it's the nervous system just isn't relaxing. And that's the key thing here, is just making sure that the nervous system is relaxed. If the nervous system is not relaxed, that's going to eventually end up, turning into burnout. So you just need to make sure that you're really giving yourself that time to rest. And like I say, it only needs to be 5 minutes, or if you've got longer, go on a walk, put a podcast on, put a subliminal on. You could do a subliminal on a walk, or just not taking your phone at all and just embracing nature. You've just got to make sure you do all these pockets of things, and some days you might have 2 hours to do this. Fabulous. Some days you might only have 5 minutes, but I think just making sure that you make a conscious effort just to give yourself that minute of peace, that can make all the difference. What am I currently reading? Okay, as of filming this, I am still on ACOTAR, the last one. I've been on that for ages because, again, like, I just haven't had the time to read. I say that, I have had plenty of time to read, but I've just got into a bad habit of just like doom scrolling instead of reading, which is definitely do as I say, not do as I do. I don't know if that's even the phrase, but yeah, I've just been out of it recently. So yeah, back on it though. I've been back on it this week with reading, and yeah, I am loving this book. This is probably my favourite book, this last one, and obviously I've got to get this finished, and then I feel like the next books I need to read, if I remember rightly, are Crescent City, because Sarah J Maas has announced the next books in October and January. I don't know the exact dates, but yeah, I need to crack on with the reading. The books I'm going to read after that are the Fourth Wing books, which I'm very excited about. But yeah, if anyone's got any book recommendations, feel free to pop them in the comments. Okay, what is my favourite season and why? This is such a difficult one because every time it transitions into a new season, I'm always like, this is my favourite season. We are currently transitioning into spring. It is literally spring equinox tomorrow, which is so exciting. And yeah, I love every season. There is no answer to that. How could I possibly choose? I always used to be a summer girl. I'd always say, yeah, summer. But that was before I learned to live with the seasons. I think if you don't live with the seasons, it's very easy to hate winter, or even hate summer. I know some people hate the heat and summer. But yeah, if you start to really see the details in each season and see the abundance around at summertime and see the stillness in winter and what it represents spiritually and how it can affect us emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically as well. Yeah, you can start to really see the joy in them all. The answer to this, I'm going to say spring, because we are currently approaching spring. And my reason why I love spring, I love all the pops of colour coming out. I love seeing like all the little insects, butterflies, bumblebees. It's almost like they've been away. You know, we've not seen them since probably like end of summer last year. And it's like, welcome back. Hello, Mr. Bumblebee. I know that sounds really sad that I'm talking to animals, but... Okay, last question. What is my love language? I can't remember who asked this, but I was like, that is such a random and funny question. My love language is acts of service, absolutely. If someone cooks me a meal, that's someone being my partner. If they cook me a meal, then it's just like, love it, love it, love it. If a job isn't done, I don't love it. It's really funny, my partner's love language is definitely physical touch, and if I'm tidying the house or doing a job and there's a million things that need doing and he wants a hug, I am like, get off me and help me. I feel like there's a lot of people in the same situation with that. But yeah, so my love language is acts of service. Okay, let's go on to the quick fire round questions. So I'll try not to go on a tangent with this. Let me readjust because I've been sat in a funny position. Right, so quick fire round. Mountains, forest or sea? I'm going to say no to mountains. That's probably going to be my last one. Not that I don't love it. It's just not my first go-to. I love the forest and the sea for different reasons. I'm probably going to say forest just because the sea, I love the sea and it's so common. I love sitting next to the sea. Being in the sea, nah, hate it. To an extent, if it's crystal clear, perfect, I'm happy with that. If I'm far out and it's deep and it's blue, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Hate it. But when we went to Cornwall last year, I really wanted to try paddle boarding. I was like, I really love the idea of trying to paddle board, but I don't want to go so far out, fall in and then freak out. So then it was actually my sister-in-law's fiance. He said, well, why don't you try the kayaks? Because it's harder to fall out of them. And I'm like, oh, what a good idea. So we hired some kayaks and we went out. It was just like a quiet little cove. And we went out and the kids were in as well. And they absolutely loved it. We saw a jellyfish and it was like I could still experience the beautifulness of the sea and the power of the sea and not be in the sea. But yeah, we saw this little jellyfish went by our kayak. We had a little paddle around. The kids loved it. I loved it. Yeah, it was fun. So yeah, I'd say forest, but then closely followed by the sea. Favourite time of day, definitely morning time. Current playlist vibe. I've been listening to sort of like orchestra music at the moment. I like sort of repetitive noise. Sometimes I'll go into a bit of like a techno-y vibe. Sometimes it will be jazz. Sometimes I like to put a fairy playlist on. I was listening to the fairy playlist the other day and that was a vibe. But yeah, just mellow out, no words. That's my vibe. Go to rituals. Tarot, already answered that. Something I'm looking forward to, going nomad, of course. So looking forward to that. And finally, 3 things I am grateful for. I am grateful for my health, my family's health, also safety, the world, how it is at the moment. I'm very grateful for the safety of myself and my friends and family. This cup of tea, it's very good. And I know it says 3, but I'm going to go 4. It is so lovely and sunny and such a proper spring day. So I'm grateful for spring and the sunshine. Thank you for listening to this video. I am super excited to get into YouTube. So expect content like vlogs. We'll be showing our nomad life. I'll be doing some little daily rituals, putting in some creative rituals in there as well. Day in the lives, all of that kind of thing. I'm super excited to create some content. Long form content is my go-to. I absolutely love sitting and watching people's day in their lives, so you can expect some of them. I would be so grateful if you subscribed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.